Hey guys, it's Tim and this is the Wrestling Wrap-Up. A handful of news brought to you in one easy to watch video. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Well, not a lot. We got a good amount of stuff to talk about. I know it's late. I spend most of my day either A, with no power, or B, trying to fix my broken website because PWUunlimited.co is down. Freaking WordPress said, hey, you got to update some of these plugins. And then I said, okay. I clicked update and the whole website went down. I did all the troubleshooting, still nothing. So tomorrow I'm going to have to figure out how to contact whoever I need to contact to get the website back up and running, because I know we haven't been posting a lot on the website lately. But the plan was start posting more starting this week, and then it goes down on me. So I got to figure all of that out. But until then, we're still here. We're on Twitch. This gets uploaded later to YouTube. Today we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stories to talk about. We're going to go straight into all of those. We're not going to have no break or anything. We got no sponsor for this video. We're just going to run and run with them all. But first I want to say, well, thank you. If you are watching live right here, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. If not, and you're watching later, well, thank you. Whether that is youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or if you're listening on podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, Google Pod, Apple Pod, or so many more. If you are, watching here on YouTube or on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either be like Maxed Puma, who just subscribed at tier 1, subscribe with a tiered subscription. Thank you for that one. Or be like, well, many others like Bruh from Aisle 4, who subscribed with Amazon Prime. You take that Amazon Prime account, you take that Twitch account, you link them together, bada bing, bada boom, you're Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like early access. Prime Gaming gives you free games, which right now they're giving you a lot of free games for Prime Day, today and tomorrow. They give you free stuff for games like Fall Guys. They give you stuff for Rocket League sometimes. They give you stuff for Grand Theft Auto Online sometimes, Madden, FIFA, and so many more. Plus, you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. If you're not watching on Twitch, maybe you're watching on YouTube, you can help us out over there as well. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below. Not the donate button, hit the join button down below. Hit that join button and become a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more. With that also, you can subscribe. You get the same stuff, but you can subscribe at patreon.com/PW Unlimited. Subscribing at Patreon actually more directly supports us, and it is easier for you because it's only just that premium content, which we're going to start posting more here shortly, so it's going to be more beneficial. But it's just that premium content. You don't have to wade through all the other content like on YouTube. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something, whether that's a new game, an old game, a free game, whether you're claiming the free games or you're getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, Fall Guys. Use the creator code PW Unlimited. It's going to ask you if you have a creator code, and you do. It's creator code PW Unlimited. Use that on the Epic Game Store, whether that's on your computer or on the launchers of Fortnite, Rocket League, and Fall Guys on your PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo Switch, and you will be directly supporting us right here. And it doesn't cost you anything extra if you're already buying stuff, whether that's show bucks for Fall Guys, the new season for Fall Guys, getting into that new season for Fortnite. Got in a little late. Don't worry, you still got time to unlock Darth Vader. Use PW Unlimited. Creator code at checkout to support us there. But let's jump into the first news story, and it comes from tonight's NXT. Tonight's NXT on the USA Network as well. One half of the Women's Tag Team Champions has turned heel and turned on her tag team partner. Yes, Cora Jade turned heel tonight on NXT. The beginning of NXT, we learned that, well, Roxanne Perez was attacked. She was attacked and laid out in the parking lot and might be injured, might not be able to compete in the main event tonight for the NXT Women's Championship. They started talking all night about how there's jealousy among the women in NXT because, well, Roxanne Perez got shot to the top very quickly, while others have been here for a while and still not really gotten many opportunities. They kept talking about how it could be this woman who's jealous. It could be this woman who's jealous. But in the end, we all knew who it was. We all knew who it was. It was the woman that failed twice already to win the NXT Women's Championship, her tag team partner, Cora Jade. Yes, Cora Jade turned on Roxanne Perez. So Mandy Rose is in the ring with Toxic Attraction, and she's talking about how, well, Roxanne's hurt. She can't challenge me tonight for my title. And then out came Cora Jade, who said, no, she's fine. She's going to challenge. And then Roxanne came out, ribs taped up and everything, and there we go. So we do the match, and the match is going, and Roxanne hits her pop rocks on the outside to Mandy. Toxic Attraction tries to get involved. She knocks out both members of Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. And then Cora Jade runs over. She's like, you're going to get counted out. Throw Mandy back in. Throw Mandy back in. Throw Mandy back in. And she's pumping up Roxanne. Roxanne throws Mandy back in. Roxanne jumps into the ring, and all of a sudden, Cora Jade hits her with the Women's Tag Team Championship. Roxanne kind of rolls around for a second, looks over at Cora, and Cora's just making the weirdest mean mugging, like the not good mean mug face. She's like she's mad, right? And this leads to Mandy Rose taking the advantage, hitting her finish, pinning Roxanne Perez, obtaining the NXT Women's Championship. The Toxic Attraction leaves. Cora Jade gets in the ring. She's got her skateboard here. She's hugging tight, and she walks over to Roxanne. Roxanne Perez is kind of on all fours. And then she goes to hit Roxanne with the skateboard. And the skateboard's already gimmicked up. So when she lifts it up really fast like that, she goes, ugh! And the skateboard breaks in half, falls, and she's like, pauses, time stood still for a moment. She's like, just do the spot. Just do the spot. She starts hitting with the half of the skateboard, just hitting Roxanne across the back with the half of the skateboard. And that's how the show ends. Cora Jade standing tall over Roxanne Perez. Now the question is, what does that mean for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships? They're the tag team champions. They won the belts last week. Was it last week? It was last week, yeah. Great American Bash. They won those titles last week, and now they've already broken them up. What? Are they going to drop the belts? Are they going to make them defend them still as hated foes? I don't even know. Or is this a chance to, oh, I don't like you. You don't like me now. We don't want to be the champions, and they're just going to do away with the titles? I don't think so. That's a possibility, and I got something in my eye. But Cora Jade did turn heel tonight on NXT. She turned on her longtime friend and tag team championship partner, Roxanne Perez. Now, speaking of tonight's NXT, another thing to talk about from tonight's NXT. Last week, there was a, QR code. The QR code revealed what we thought was maybe a date. Let me see if I can pull that first QR code image up. Let me see here. See if I can find it. Yes, we have the first QR code here. So let's pull this up on the big screen for you guys. So we see this QR code last week. Well, there's a QR code. You scan it, it takes you to this 8, 10, 11. Now, some people thought it was a date, but look at the colon there. That made me think it's a time. 8th hour, 10th minute, 11th second. But then we got a new QR code to send us to this. It's like Wordle. We got all these different names. Quinn, Becky. We learn in Becky, there's a C in this word. Cruz, C's not in the right spot. Trick, C's not in the right spot. Brock, oh, there's an O in there. C's still not in the right spot. Toxic, C's at the end. O is not in the right spot. So we go through and we see what letters are still available. We see what letters have been used, what letters have not been used, where the C is, where the O can fit. And the one word that I was able to figure out that fits here perfect is havoc. Now, what does havoc mean? Is that Halloween Havoc? Halloween Havoc wouldn't be taking place in August, though. Not August. Well, September. Because if people think it's a date, September 10th or 11th, that's not Halloween Havoc. Like September 10th is a September 10th or 11th. That's a Saturday, Sunday anyway. So maybe people were thinking it was a pay-per-view, but maybe it's a time. 8, 10, 11 Havoc. I have seen some people ask if it's Jessica Havoc. I don't think so. I don't think WWE signed Jessica Havoc. And when's the last time? She's still with Impact, isn't she? Let's see. I haven't seen much of Jessica Havoc, recent. I think she's still with Impact, but I could double check on that. So here. Jessica Havoc last worked a match just a couple of days ago for Revolver Wrestling. And yeah, she worked last week. Impact, the Under Siege show. So yes, she's still with Impact. I don't think it's Jessica Havoc. But then Halloween Havoc, that's in October. But what's 8, 10, 11? Is that a time? 8. So is somebody going to debut at 8, 10 Pacific or 8, 10 Eastern at Halloween Havoc? It's the only thing I can think of. But now I want to know from you guys, what do you think 8, 10, 11 means? And what do you think Havoc stands for? Let me know if you're watching live, or let me know if you're watching later in the YouTube comments down below. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But as we move forward, at the top of the show, we talked about some women's tag team champions. Oh, wait. Kenny Vicious says, what about Jimmy Havoc? Highly doubt it. He used to work for WWE. They fired him years ago for taking a picture with the Young Bucks outside of a WWE show. And, he's been happy working. I think he's still with Impact as well. Jimmy Havoc. Wait, no, I'm not thinking of Jimmy Havoc. I'm thinking of a different guy. They're not signing Jimmy Havoc. No. I'm thinking of somebody different. I'm thinking of... Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Why can't I not think of his name all of a sudden? Oh. Give me 1 second. I'm blanking here all of a sudden. It's not Jimmy Havoc. Trust me. WWE is not signing Jimmy Havoc. But I'm thinking of Jimmy Jacobs. But as we move forward, at the top of the show, we talked about some women's tag team champions. Let's talk about some more tag team champions. As far as tag team championships, the women's tag team championships on the main roster, as Fightful kind of has an update, but it's a non-update telling us that there is no update, as Fightful wrote the following. Talent that we've spoken to said that they've received no word of when or if the tag team title tournament will actually happen. Even beyond that, they claim that they've heard no discussions regarding the tag team titles whatsoever since that announcement. Now, if you're unaware, or you shouldn't be unaware, but if you just forgot, Sasha, Naomi, they were the women's tag team champions. In May, they walked out. And gave up the titles. And in giving up the titles became vacant. WWE then said that they're going to hold a, tournament to crown the new champions. But then after that tournament announcement, nothing else ever happened. Nothing else ever came of it. And the titles have been sitting on ice ever since. Basically, this is a update with a non-update from Fightful, which is kind of weird that you're going to make people pay for this one. But hey, it's basically saying there's no update because nobody is talking about these titles. Nobody is saying anything, and nobody knows anything. So that's just a little slight update-ish, half update, I guess you can call it, of you keep asking about it. We've asked about it as well, yet nobody knows anything because they're not even talking about it internally. But something that is being talked about internally has to do with the Good Brothers and their status with Impact Wrestling. Fightful did write the following. Originally, the contracts of both men, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, were set to expire on July 17th, just after this weekend's tapings in Louisville. We've learned from Impact sources that Gallows and Anderson are with the company, quote, at least until late in the summer. The two joined Impact after being released by WWE. and said that they were given the same deal Impact offered them when they were impending free agents in 2019. Now, if you don't remember, they signed with WWE, I want to say 2016. Then in 2019, their contracts were coming up. There was talks of them maybe going to AEW. There was talks of them maybe going to Impact. And then they ultimately stayed with WWE because Triple H made them an offer they couldn't refuse. And then 6 months later, they were gone. So since joining Impact, they have become two-time Impact Tag Team Champions. Now, Fightful also states that in researching for this story, we've learned that the two are committed to New Japan through at least Wrestle Kingdom, which is January 4th, maybe 5th as well. And I think it's 4th and 5th. They're doing at least 2 days. Gallows and Anderson are with Impact for at least a couple of more months, which is very cool to see that the Good Brothers will be sticking around there. But it is interesting that they put their podcast on hiatus. And they said their podcast had to be put on hold temporarily, indefinitely, because of things outside of their what did they say? Unforeseen circumstances or something like that, which then led to people thinking maybe they're going to go to WWE, but I don't know. Because why else would they have to put their podcast on hold? Talking Shop podcast. Like WWE would maybe make them stop, but Impact's not going to make them stop. Going to AEW is not going to make them stop. I mean, we know New Japan's not going to make them stop because they do that podcast with Rocky Romero, who, well, works for New Japan in a very high-profile spot. So we'll see where this leads to. I assume end of summer might mean Bound for Glory in October. I want to say that's October 8th. We'll check the day on that. October 8th is Bound for Glory. Some say that October could be the beginning of fall, end of summer. Some say September. Some say August. It's all up for interpretation when summer's really over. Let's see. When's the last day of summer 2022? Last day of summer 2022. September 22nd is the last day of summer. So maybe they stick with Impact till the end of September, early October. And ooh, I just lost my notes. Let's open those back up. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go. But as we move forward, got a little information regarding Stephanie McMahon being the, quote, interim CEO of WWE, and a very interesting update, or I guess you could say story, from Justin Barrasso over at Sports Illustrated. I'm not going to read this whole thing. I would say go read it yourself if you're interested, but there's a paragraph here that really makes me, further think that Stephanie is not the real CEO right now and just a, quote, figurehead. Vince is still in charge, but Stephanie is there for PR reasons, because Justin Barrasso did write the following. If revenue is not affected, McMahon will have immunity to stay. Nothing will change until news breaks that cannot be justified to the shareholders. At some point, what if a string of major advertisers cancels WWE by invoking a morality clause? What if a network like Fox did that? Suddenly, if WWE, if that were the case, McMahon would be in breach of his, this word's going to screw with me. McMahon would be in breach of his fiduciary duties to the company. I know I read that word wrong. In that scenario, he can no longer justify staying to the shareholders. And there was another paragraph. It's gone now, or maybe I skipped it. Why do I not see? Hold on. That's not the right. Here we go. Here's the paragraph I was looking for. Right after it. While it would appear on the surface that this is more than enough reason to have McMahon removed from a position of power, talking about the latest Wall Street Journal report, he seems to have no intention of stepping down. McMahon did relinquish his CEO title in the wake of the earlier Journal report, but remains in charge of the company's creative direction. His daughter, Stephanie McMahon, will remain WWE's interim CEO, but Vince McMahon will still run the operations, sources have told Sports Illustrated. So that right there, Stephanie will remain interim CEO, but McMahon will still run the operations. And that's not just them saying what we know. That's from a source to Sports Illustrated. So this is something new that they have been told directly. Not, oh, well, everyone's just saying that Stephanie's a figurehead and she's the interim CEO right now. No. A new source has told Sports Illustrated that Stephanie will remain as interim CEO, but Vince will still run the operation. Again, this further leads me to believe that Stephanie McMahon is not the CEO right now. Maybe she has a little power to do things, but I don't think that's much of any. Now, it is coincident that Triple H has been back in the fold ever since she was made CEO or interim CEO. So we know that maybe she got a little bit of power, giving Hunter back some power. I don't know. There's a lot of questions and misconceptions with this up in the air, and that we're going to have to really look into and figure out, especially over the next couple of months, and if there's more to come from the Wall Street Journal, because a couple of the writers from Wall Street Journal told Dave LaGreca on his show that they're working on something else, that there's more that they think is to come, and there's more that they think is going to come in another article, whether that is from them or done through somebody else, corroborated in collaboration with multiple writers, just like the last Wall Street Journal report. So there could be more to come from the Wall Street Journal. If there is, and it's more to not look good on Vince, maybe that does eventually lead to that vote of non-confidence on Vince in this role. Now, again, Vince McMahon is only running creative, yet, even as CEO in the last year, Vince has not been making a lot of CEO decisions himself anyways. It's all been really falling on Nick Khan, even though he's only listed as president. Nick Khan's been listed as president of WWE, yet from multiple sources, and then I've heard Brian Alvarez talk about this, I've heard Dave Meltzer talk about this, I've heard Sean Ross Sapp talk about this. Nick Khan's really been making most of the big business decisions within WWE, as Vince really has just been making the on-television stuff, the creative decisions. So, like, why not put Nick Khan in the CEO role already? Baffles me, since he's been making most of those main business decisions for, what is it, maybe at least the last year. So, we'll see where all this leads to, but it's not looking good. Vince telling people, fuck them, as far as all them people coming out against him and all these reports. That's what he said. When the first report came, first Wall Street Journal report came, Vince was on TV that next Friday. The word is that Vince went out on TV, said, welcome to Friday Night SmackDown. Walked in the back and just yelled, fuck them. That was it. That was it. Got two more stories here to talk about. One's a quick one, quick hit when it comes to AEW and All Out. A lot of people have been asking the question, when's All Out? What's going on with All Out? We know when All Out is, but we're not 100% sure where All Out is taking place. Now, we do know ever since the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, AEW has been advertising All Out for September 4th, which is, I believe, a Sunday. Because WWE is doing, yes, that's a Sunday. WWE is doing September 3rd, Clash at the Castle. But they haven't said where All Out is taking place, whether that is the United Center or the Now Arena. We know it's going to be in Chicago, yet on the latest edition of the AEW Control Center, Tony Schiavone stated the following: fans, get ready for a big announcement of the next AEW pay-per-view event. That announcement and how you can get tickets will be unveiled on AEW Dynamite on Fyter Fest live on TBS as well. So tomorrow, or today if you're watching this on Wednesday, AEW will announce the location and ticket information for All Out. Again, we know it's going to be in Chicago. We know it's September 4th, but we're just not 100% sure on the arena. But if I'm going to make a guess, I'm going to say Now Arena, because A, that's tradition for them, and B, I believe they already announced that the Fan Fest is going to be in Schaumburg, and the Now Arena is closer to Schaumburg than the United Center is. So that all just falls in line with everything that we would assume. So tomorrow we will have clearer information on All Out, the next AEW pay-per-view. Speaking of pay-per-views, WWE's got a pay-per-view coming up at the end of the month. That is SummerSlam. So far, only 5 matches have been announced for SummerSlam, and we do have the early betting odds 3 weeks out from that show. Actually, 2.5 weeks out from SummerSlam, as we will run them down and kind of talk a little bit about them right here. First off, we do know that Pat McAfee will be taking on Happy Corbin. Pat McAfee, the favorite, at a -220. to defeat Happy Corbin at a plus 160. Now, this is the obvious one. Pat McAfee picking up the victory. That would make Pat McAfee 2-0 on the main roster. Pat McAfee beat Austin Theory. Then they'll go out and beat Happy Corbin. A lot of people are sleeping on this match, saying, oh, we don't need this. It's Corbin. Who cares about it? I think this match might, I wouldn't say be a great match or anything, but I think it might surprise people and entertain people more than they're expecting, if that makes sense. So far, 4 title matches have been announced for the show. With the first right here, we're going to talk about the United States title. The United States title will be on the line when Bobby Lashley defends it against the former champion in Theory. Bobby Lashley is currently favored at a minus 250 to win and retain over Theory at a plus 170. So right now, I think this is the way to go, even though some may say that it's not the right move. You don't want to beat Theory as much Mr. Money in the Bank if you don't have to. And it's like, well, yeah, but they kind of booked themselves into this situation where Bobby Lashley can't drop the belts too soon. Theory doesn't need the belt because he's got the briefcase. But then the big question, what's going on with Dolph? Dolph attacked Theory last night on Raw. What are you doing there? You going to get added to this match? We're going to get freaking Theory and Dolph at some point? I don't know what's going on, but Bobby Lashley retaining the title does make the most sense. And I think that's what you're really going off of right now, what makes the most sense. The SmackDown Women's Championship on the line, Liv Morgan will be defending against the former champion in Ronda Rousey. Liv Morgan is currently favored at a minus 300 to win and retain over Ronda Rousey at a plus 200. And I'm going to say it right now, it's the only way you can go. It's the only way you can go. Because if Ronda beats Liv, fans will riot. Fans will riot. They will not want to see Liv Morgan drop that title that quickly. Now, I think that Liv should hold the title for a couple of months. She doesn't have to hold it forever. She doesn't have to hold it for more than 6 months or anything. I mean, you can have her beat Ronda here and then go into the fall as the champion and then maybe drop it to Charlotte. Maybe drop it to, I'm trying to think of who's on SmackDown. Raquel. Turn Raquel heel and have her drop it to Raquel. Maybe have her drop it to Shotzi. I don't know. Doubt they would put the title on Shotzi. No offense to Shotzi, but I think the right thing to do, and the betting odds are saying this as well, Liv beats Ronda. It will legitimize, and no, you don't need to legitimize Liv, but it would further legitimize Liv because the whole thing they've been doing is Liv can't beat Ronda if Ronda's hurt, or if not hurt. If Liv can't beat Ronda if Ronda's not hurt. Well, she can go in there, have a competitive match with Ronda. I think the two could probably have a pretty good match as well. They'd probably go down, train a lot together, and work the match out a lot beforehand, and then go in there and have a pretty darn good match. I think this match, just like McAfee and Corbin, is going to surprise a lot of people. Because a lot of people are going to go, oh, it's a Ronda match. It's going to be overbooked. It's going to be over-rehearsed, and it's going to be whatever. I think with Liv in there with Ronda, I think Liv might actually be a pretty good opponent for Ronda. As we move forward, we got the WWE Tag Team Championships on the line as the Usos defend against the Street Profits with a special guest referee yet to be named. We don't have any hints on who that referee might be. I mean, they kind of hinted, maybe it's R-Truth. I highly doubt that. I highly doubt it's going to be R-Truth. But like, who else could it be? I mean, right now the Street Profits are not favored to win. The Usos are the favorites at a minus 400 over the Street Profits at a plus 250. But it's like, who can be the special guest ref? I have no earthly idea who the special guest ref could be. Like, I can't even try to come up with a name. Is it going to be a legend coming back in? Is it going to be someone currently on the roster? Is it going to be a manager of some sorts? Paul Heyman, I highly doubt. But it's like, this one kind of baffles me because special guest ref doesn't make any sense. I get why they're doing it. Is the whole, the last ref botched the finish. Well, as I talked about last night, not really, because Taz never kicked out. Jey Uso, I think is the one going for the pin, lifted the shoulder himself. The whole claim of, well, Montez's shoulder wasn't up, or wasn't on the mat, so you shouldn't have counted it. That's bullcrap. Because it's not like the shoulder was up and he was still trying to kick out. He laid just steady and still and didn't move. He laid there and just stayed there. Now, if he was laying there, shoulder up and he was wiggling, then you can say, okay. Even though Jay's the one that pulled the shoulder and he didn't get the shoulder up, you could still see that he was trying and wiggling. No. Jay goes for the pin. He pulls the shoulder, and Tez is just laying there, not moving. So the whole shoulder thing, I get it. In technical terms, the shoulder was up. They shouldn't have counted the 1, 2, 3. But in actuality and competition-wise, when you think about it, Montez Ford was still knocked the heck out. You can just say, oh, Uso messed up. Uso should have just... Like, if the ref would have saw him, like, no, the shoulder's up, I can't count. All Jey Uso would have to do was let go of the shoulder, and he would have got it 1, 2, 3, because Tez wasn't even trying to kick out. So that whole thing just makes no sense. And finally, the main title, the big title, the Undisputed Unified WWE Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship in a last man standing match. Roman Reigns is the favorite at a -200 to defeat Brock Lesnar at a +150. And I mean, I could see this going either way, but I don't see Roman dropping the belt to Brock. I guess you got to go Roman. Unless they do the thing that I fear. Double count out. As far as both men knock each other out, the ref counts to 10, and nobody gets to their feet. Nobody gets to their feet. How you do that move? How you do that? I don't know. Unless they like both swing chairs and hit each other at the same time. Because it's not like Brock can hit the F5 and then they're both laid out. Brock had to have enough muster to hit the F5 so he should get up by 10. It's not like Roman can hit the spear and they're both laid out. Again, Roman should have enough muster to get up by the 10 if he was able to hit the spear hard enough to knock out Brock. So I fear they do a double count thing where they're both knocked out and they get to 10 and then Theory runs down and I'm going to cash in. I still think Theory fails, but that's the one fear I have. Because, yeah, betting odds are going to have one over the other. But my fear is that nobody wins this. And we get an, I think, 8th Brock-Roman match. This is number 7. So that's my one big fear for this last man standing match. It's like, well, they've knocked each other out. And so nobody's the loser. Nobody's the winner. Maybe we got to run it back. See where that all goes. But those are the current betting odds. 2.5 weeks out from SummerSlam taking place in Nashville, Tennessee from Nissan Stadium. Once we do hear anything else for SummerSlam, like more matches being announced, because I'm still shocked that no new matches were announced this week on Raw. Shocked about that no new matches were announced. I do want to say thank you to Rocky Mountain Pro for the raid of 10. Really do appreciate that. Really do appreciate that raid. Also, thanks to Comark for the follow. Really do appreciate that. As we are wrapping things up, unfortunately, that's going to wrap up the wrap-up right as we get that raid about a minute or 2 minutes ago. But I do appreciate that. This wrestling wrap-up, a handful of news brought to you in one easy-to-watch video. If you missed any of this, well, in the next 10 minutes or so, as soon as this is over, it's going to get uploaded to YouTube. And you can watch it over there on YouTube. It's going to get uploaded to podcast services all around the globe, like Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, Google Pod, Apple Pod, and so much more. With that, guys, thank you for joining me here. If you're watching live, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. We'll be live again tomorrow night for AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest Night 1. Also, thank you if you're watching on YouTube or listening on podcast services. Have a great rest of your Wednesday night. I will see you guys next time. Have a good one, guys.